Well, all right. Hello, everybody. Andrew here, Top Fitness Strategies, and we have another interview going on this evening. But before we get started, as usual, all right, let me do a couple of things here. I kind of got sidetracked because I had a malfunction with my computer mouse earlier, and that was not fun. But I got that taken care of, so I had to do a couple of things out of order today. We have a sponsor. Yes, I wrote a book. I wrote several books, as you know, if you follow me, the Inside Out, Top to Bottom Fitness Program. And I also have that up on Kindle. Yeah, believe it or not, I have a Kindle book. People saying, "How did you figure out Kindle?" I really don't know how I figured it out, but I did it, and and it's up. So now I just got to figure out how to get the link on here, which I'll do in just a second. So what it is, the Inside Out Top to Bottom Fitness Program is a workout program that it's all about body weight. Because a couple of years ago, I said, you know what, I need to. Oh, wait a second here. Oh, okay, I know why I didn't do it. Right? Let's see here. Program. A couple of years ago, I wanted to do something, and I said it's all about body weight. So I said, I'm going to try a workout program that I developed. Of course, I took inspiration from other places as well, and I put the book up, and I started selling it via my website. And then somebody says, you know what? I need to also go on what's that called, this Kindle thing. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do this Kindle thing. It took me a while to figure out. I have an internet mentor, Tom Antion, really helped me out, and we got it up, and it's going. All right, so there you go. So all I have to do for the Kindle is type in my name in the Amazon search thing, and we'll go from there. All right, enough of me jabbering. So this evening we have Marylou Harris from Awesome Natural Healing. Now, Marylou is a happy and healthy mom and a grandmommy, as well as a certified holistic health coach. She is a public speaker and passionate educator whose main goal is to teach you how simple it is to incorporate natural solutions into your life as a first line of defense. She's also your healthy swap coach, and she has researched all the best options for you, from supplements to wine and everything else. And now what she can add to her repertoire is she is a guest on the Top Fitness Strategy Show. Welcome, Marylou.
Thank you for having me, Andrew. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So yeah, the bio is fantastic. And of course I got that from her website. So I can't connect the bio myself. So it's on her website. So all right, Marylou, I always talk about how I ran into folks or how I met folks. And so what I did, and I'd like to be transparent here, I started looking at different Facebook groups. I said, okay, because I'm in the health and fitness world, more so fitness related myself. I said, I need to find out more on the health side of things, and not the typical, all right, eat this and that, eat this or eat that, or drink this and drink that type of thing. More on the like you said, like yours, the natural side. So I typed in, natural health, and all of a sudden your Facebook page came up, and absolutely loved it.
Voila! the internet gods brought us together.
That's right. And of course I went to your website and checked it out, and I sent you a message, and honestly, the first time we talked, you and I must have talked for 45 minutes, and it was great.
At least, yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. So we definitely connected and resonated, I think, with each other, and
that's right.
Just related on a lot of different things. So yeah, okay. It's always interesting to me when the internet brings me together with people. So
well, I'm glad it did. It did.
Yeah, me too.
And okay, so website, Awesome Natural Healing. All right, so
that's right.
My first question, right? Well, first of all, tell us about yourself and what led you to the Awesome Natural Healing. Then I'll get into my question.
Well, like a lot of natural health people, this is a very common backstory. I got really sick in my early 40s and had some time on my hands. I had just sold a business, gotten divorced. I was, in a position where I could figure out why my body was breaking down the way it was, and just learned it was a lot of choices I was making in my home that were as simple as, lipstick and floor cleaner. I was polluting my home, thereby polluting my body with chemicals that I had no idea were even in the equation. How can it be bad for me? It's for sale at the grocery store or the mall, right? So,
right.
And the long journey that I took was because in 2006, I'll say, there weren't health coaches like there are now. They weren't, be hard to throw a rock today and not hit a health coach somewhere, right? So,
Right, right, right.
but in 2006, I was alone and I was scared. I was frustrated. I was hungry, literally starving. I thought I was going to starve to death
Hmm.
because there were so many things I couldn't eat per my doctor because of my food intolerances. Um, and when I got to the end of the journey and was literally in my late 40s in the best health, the best shape, the most vibrant I think I'd ever felt in my life, I kind of looked back and thought, God, this wasn't that hard. Maybe I need to help people navigate this journey because a lot of people aren't going to have the time that I had. You know, I had kids early and, they were grown and gone by the time these things all started happening to me. So, like I said, I'd sold a business. So I was, I kind of worked my way out of a job and had a lot of free time. The internet was, not nearly what the internet is now.
Hmm.
So, it was kind of tough to navigate it and find good information. The internet's great for finding information, but how do you know what's good and what's bad, what's credible, what's
Exactly.
not?
Yep.
So yeah, so like I said, I looked back and I thought, wow, if I can help one more person not break down into tears in the grocery store like I did the first three times I went to the grocery store after I learned what I did, then it was worth it. So, and that was, I joined the health coaching arena probably about, I guess in October, it'll be 9 years ago. And it's been super rewarding. It's evolved, because again, we learn more literally every day. And I am an avid researcher. I call myself a
Mhm.
continuing ed junkie. So I'm always studying, the newest and the latest and the greatest. And, I want what's best for me and my family. So I test market everything before I talk about it.
Okay.
And I think that makes me a really good, credible resource.
So when you say you test market it, I mean, so do you use yourself as a guinea pig?
Absolutely. Yeah. After doing extensive research on something, I mean, I've got to, because I was so, polluted, I use that word and then I hear myself say that and I think, well, I should, I should explain that that means, wax melters and candles, not, heroin or anything like that. But I was so toxic and so polluted with chemicals that now that I've come to a place where I don't make those bad choices anymore because I know better and I've totally detoxed my home and my body, I'm not going to go down the road trying anything unless I have full belief in the company that's marketing it. Because anybody can say, oh, we're all natural and we're this and we're that. And, I'm looking at ingredient lists and I'm looking up the names of the ingredients because, some things can sound scary that
Oh yeah.
really
Oh
just
yeah.
aren't, like hyaluronic acid. Wow, that sounds kind of,
Hmm.
crazy, but it's in our bodies, it's in our joints, it's in our skin,
Right.
it's not a scary ingredient. So, I've learned all that. And so I become kind of the cliff notes for people. So I will not try a product unless I am 100% comfortable with its purity because I'm not going back down that road and I'm not going to take you there with me.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so I am my own kind of crash test dummy. I bring things into my home. I try them. I try them on my family, my fiance. Um, and if they're great, then I'll tell you about them. So, and some of those things are just things I bought at the grocery store, and some of them are things that I actually am a consultant, and an independent consultant, and can
Hmm.
help you procure. So, but it's not about that for me.
Okay.
It's about just again, my life cycle keeps changing. Obviously, that's the good news, right? I keep getting older. And so now I'm 57 and I'm in a way different place than I was 9 years ago, just, physiologically. So
Yeah.
I need to know new things and I need to try new things. And, with the last year and everything we've been through, and, I've always been a proponent for boosting immunity naturally and cleaning our home and killing germs naturally and things like that. But in the last year, that's obviously become a super hot topic. Supporting respiration and breathing and all that. So, the world keeps changing. I keep changing. And it just brings me to new research all the time. So I'm just constantly looking at new things and trying new things, because I'm not going to be closed-minded ever.
Good for you.
Because I just, anytime somebody brings me something like, hey, check this out, I'm always going to look at it. I have a lot of people that bring me, products and, the latest magic pill. There are no magic pills, but,
okay.
but
Now,
yeah,
I have a slew of questions on what you.
please hit me.
Okay, so you talked about everything being natural. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything being natural. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I first heard the term natural healing was growing up, you see all these grandma's home remedy, you drink water with a spoon upside down and you're like that. And then I'm starting thinking, okay, maybe natural remedies or natural, I shouldn't say remedies, not the right word. Natural healing is
Mm-hmm.
you go out and you basically consume or eat everything that grows out of the ground. So I guess my question, a long way to get there, is what exactly is natural healing? What do you consider natural healing?
So I go all the way back to our origins. If you go back to Hippocrates, who was the father of medicine, he calls food our medicine. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food is one of his most famous quotes. And it's true. We've gotten away from the superfoods that do, fuel the body. And the way that I look at it as a holistic health coach is my body is an amazing machine. It can heal itself, cure itself. It can do anything I need it to do if I fuel it properly. So,
Okay.
where I believe we've broken down as a nation is we have stopped eating organic food. We have stopped eating, the healing superfoods, the root vegetables, the sulfur-based foods, that are so restorative to our body. And we've gone to these fake foods, genetically modified foods that, do not even nourish the body. My body will not recognize fake food as nourishment. It will not even break it down as nutrition. So, I just went all the way back to, the origin of medicine and looked at why we got away from that. Why in the 50s did we stop having babies at home where mom was the most comfortable? Um, why does a woman go into labor in her home and then go to a hospital, and what happens? Her labor always stops, right? Because she's not in her nest anymore. So the body is so intuitive and it's so amazing. So if, again, I say this to all my clients, it's kind of become a catchphrase of mine. A properly nourished body does everything better. And that means it goes on its nightly restorative reset cycle better. You sleep better. You're in a better mood. You digest better. You do all these things better. It's like if you bought a car and you put premium gas in it versus regular gas, it's going to fire on all cylinders better, right? So, you just have to kind of take a look at how our body was made and how it was designed. And we have all these systems that do all these things. And if you just looked at it mechanically, it's an amazing engine, for, lack of a better comparison. And so if you fuel it right, it is going to fight off germs. It is going to fight off disease. It is going to repair itself. It is going to, I had an ACL tear in my knee from a car accident. And I literally waited so long for all the insurance companies to stop arguing with each other that it healed itself. Like, I ended up not needing surgery because I just supported my body and waited it out. And I wasn't waiting it out thinking it would heal itself. This was way before I knew what I know now. But literally, I was a passenger in the back seat behind the driver, and my knee went into the console in the the console between the driver and the front seat passenger. My knee shoved into that, and it tore, my tendon, and that tendon healed itself. And I was super glad I didn't end up having to have knee surgery. But I
Yeah.
supported it for probably the first year with the knee brace. I'm an avid tennis player, so I wanted to stay playing tennis and just doing the leg exercises that strengthened those thigh muscles that therefore supported the knee. Boom, So that was a great kind of accidental lesson for me at the healing effects that the
Yeah.
body has naturally. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I have to agree because I'm a huge fan of not taking any kind of medication.
right.
Right? A long time ago, 20 years ago, I lived in a different city, and my neighbor's dog attacked me and chewed up my arm.
Oh,
Right,
wow.
basically. And so I wasn't going to go to the emergency room or anything else, but and I wasn't going to call the police because it was my neighbor, but I ended up
Yeah.
doing it because I didn't want the dog, biting a little kid in the neighborhood. When the
Right.
police actually came over, made me go to the hospital emergency room. So I just went to one of those med check places.
Mhm.
The doctor bandaged me up, and he said, "Okay, take these muscle relaxers and aspirin and blah blah blah, and you'll be fine." Well, I don't even take aspirin,
Mm-mm. I
let
don't
alone
either.
muscle relaxers. So I had
Yeah.
no clue what they were, and I didn't do anything. And a few days later, and of course, I still have a couple of little scars here and there, but it wasn't anything major. And thank goodness the dog didn't have any kind of diseases. But
Right.
that just goes to my belief of I don't like to take medication.
Right.
Very seldom do I take any. I mean, an aspirin, if I take one, will knock me out because I never take anything like that.
Right. I'm the same way. Yeah.
I tell
I call
people,
myself a cheap date. I can't take any of that stuff anymore. Um,
all right,
yeah,
so
and you don't have to. I mean, again, and this is another journey that I went on when I did detox myself. I said, okay, so what do I do if I get a headache? What do I do if I get a muscle cramp? What do I do if I get a stomach bug?
mhm,
And that's when I found essential oils. So, and that was also just one of those. We talked about how the internet put us together. I literally owned commercial real estate at the time, and I had a tenant, and she was a psychological counselor, and I was in her office one night picking up the rent check or whatever, and I saw she had this display on her front table, and it was for essential oils. And I'm like, what are essential oils? And I kind of like read the little flyer because I was waiting for her to finish an appointment. And she came out, and I'm like, well, tell me about this. Like, what is this? Because, she'd been my tenant for 4 or 5 years. And I'm like, I need to support her. And I can't, go sit on her couch because that would be a weird, like, conflict of interest as
okay,
a landlord.
let me stop you right there
Yeah.
because I have my questions, and you got to let me ask my questions because that
I'm
was my
sorry.
you answered my question before I asked it. So let me be the good host here, and let me ask you. So we talked over one of the one of the titles of the interview was essential oils.
Right.
My question is going to be, what are essential oils?
Right. Okay. So,
So,
so an
but,
essential oil is, it's basically the defense system for the plant. Okay, so the easiest way to understand it is an orange. So an orange in the peel, if you've ever peeled an orange, which I'm sure you have. I used to love it when my mom would throw an orange in my lunch sack when I was a kid because I'd peel it
yeah,
and then spend the rest of the day sniffing my fingers.
yeah,
That's the essential oil. It's in the peel. So what that essential oil does for that orange is it protects it from temperature extremes. It draws in pollinators. It deters pests. And so, what an essential oil does for a plant, it does the same for us because that plant is organic. We are organic. So, an essential oil is basically what the chemical compounds that naturally occur in all these different kinds of plants, whether it's an orange peel or a grass root or a tree bark or a flower, the chemical compounds that naturally occur in those essential oils that are in those plants, they have a chemical compound, a natural signature that supports a system of our body.
okay,
So again, it's just amazing how from a botany standpoint, I'm not too terribly dissimilar to the tree that grows in my yard, So,
Makes
so
sense.
when a tree grows tall, its roots have to grow deep and wide so the tree doesn't fall over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the essential oil from a tree root can be very grounding to a human. Isn't that cool?
Okay, so and a lot of questions on here. So how does somebody find out about the essential oil? Now, is the term essential oil for all of them, or is just that's just a fancy term that sounds cool? I mean,
No, an essential oil is a common term. It's not brand specific or anything like that. It's again this oil created within a plant that
okay,
is the plant's natural defense mechanism.
okay,
So it's the lifeblood of the plant in that we're talking about, if you will.
okay. So my question was then, you talked about the roots of a plant or of a
Hmm.
tree or what have you. How
Hmm.
did the first person dig up a root and say, you know what, if I squeeze this hard enough, I'm going to get some oil out of this. I'm going to use it to heal myself. How,
I'm old, but I wasn't there.
well, I wasn't
Because it
either.
was thousands of years ago.
Anyways,
But no, like today we can obviously we can do gas chromatography and break down these chemical compounds in these plants, right?
mhm.
And then we can recognize which of the compounds actually support the different systems of the body. So if you go to a website called pubmed.gov,
Okay.
PUB like publication, MED like medicine, .gov like government, you will see, every research study that's ever been published, through this entity. And there's just literally just millions of studies. But if they have a little internal search engine that will look for things just on their website, of course.
Mhm.
And if you type essential oils in there, it will blow your mind how many results come up. There
In
are hundreds of thousands of essential oil
Interesting.
studies that have been done all over the world for decades.
Fantastic.
So, again, if you look at our original medicine, that's what it was. It was food, it was plants, it was
Mhm.
flowers, it was leaves. Again, if you're a Christian, read the Bible. There's 500 references
Oh,
to
wow.
essential oils in the Bible, right?
Interesting.
It's
Interesting.
very interesting. It's fascinating, actually. It just really, it was something that I just took a deep dive in, and I just kept diving back for more.
Cool.
Because it's amazing. And if you look at the chemical compounds that make up synthetic medication, they're often copied from plants. For example, the chemical compound in a wintergreen leaf is very closely matched to. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mute my phone.
Okay. Hey, for those that just joined us, we are talking with Marylou Harris from awesomenaturalhealing.com,
Thank you.
Facebook page
Thank
of the
you.
same name. And we are talking about essential oils, and we're getting
Mhm.
into that a little bit now. And she's where I'm asking her some questions about how they're found or how they're made and things of that sort. And so, and that was our little side break. And now she's back.
Right. I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, when you do this,
Sorry.
stuff like that happens, folks. Believe me, stuff like that happens.
Exactly. Sorry
Okay.
about that. So my apologies for
Nope.
the interruption, but
So these
um,
essential
but
oils.
but yeah. So like wintergreen essential oil, because they used that formula to make aspirin originally. It's got analgesic properties. So if my shoulder hurts and I rub wintergreen essential oil on my shoulder stops hurting. Isn't that cool? So,
Okay,
and I
so
don't have to ingest an aspirin and have that synthetic chemical in my body and have my liver have to filter that. It just goes right to work.
okay, so these oils that you don't consume them, you rub them on?
Yes, correct. You can use them aromatically, which is, aromatherapy, which they get into the brain that way through the nose for, just a real simple definition. You can use them topically. If you're a new essential oil user, you're probably going to want to dilute them with something like coconut oil or almond oil or just some carrier oil just to see if you have a skin sensitivity or not.
Okay.
But there are some you can take internally. I picked a brand by the name of Doterra because they do classify some of theirs for internal use. That's a very divisive subject. Aromatherapists believe that, you should never ingest an essential oil. I've been doing it off and on for 8 years, in very, very, very small quantities. I don't
Okay.
have a problem with it, but it's a pretty divisive topic, and so I like to throw that out there. But if you can use it topically and it solves your problem, then there's no need for you to take it internally, right?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So, but there are some that if I take them internally, like they calm my whole central nervous system. So I do that at bedtime just because I've got a busy brain, and I can just quiet everything down.
All
But
right.
that effect only happens if I take it internally. So I do take them internally
I,
on a
I
rare occasion.
I have a question, and this is going to sound really silly, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Go ahead.
Me being a single guy, and you just
Uh-huh.
mentioned the term bedroom, okay, and when you couple that with the term oil, you know where my mind goes, okay.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're not for
the
that.
whole male population here, okay.
Right.
So my question is, and this is the R rated. So if you have kids, put them to bed, folks. No.
Right. Earmuffs, kids.
Are there any oils that can, let's say, help
Increase libido. Is that what you're going to say?
that
Increase libido.
for a certain time length? Okay.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the guy over 50 years old that, hey, we got some oil. Let's do something fun with this oil. What would you, are you at liberty to recommend anything, or is that the wrong question?
Yeah. I mean, again, this goes back to just ancient times. So I want to say it was Egyptian brides carried a flower.
Make it clear.
They carried a flower in their bridal bouquet, and it was called neroli. So neroli is it is the flower from the bitter orange tree. So the tree that grows the bitter orange, obviously all fruit is a flower before it fruits, right? So so they carry these in their bridal bouquet because they're an aphrodisiac.
And what from a flower from an orange tree? Is that what you said?
And the flower is called neroli, Neroli. So it has actually got some properties in it that can increase libido. So does jasmine essential oil. So look at the connection between jasmine and neroli. They're both florals, right? So the chemical compounds in florals can oftentimes, ylang-ylang is another floral oil that is also good for increasing libido. And it's actually, if you look again on PubMed.gov, you can see some studies that have been done on men with erectile dysfunction and ylang-ylang oil. So again, it's just all about supporting the body system that makes all those natural things happen. Those autonomic responses, can be supported with essential oils, whether it's breathing or libido or whatever. So pretty much every system in the body can be supported with an essential oil.
Interesting. Wow.
It's very interesting.
And okay, so I have more questions, but I want to make sure if who's ever watching, listening, can they get these essential oils from your website, or where would they, if not, where would they get them?
Yes. I mean, I have an affiliate link for my essential oils, but you can always reach out to me too. Like a lot of people don't want to fool with, setting up customer accounts and all that. I get it. I'm super averse to all that kind of stuff too. So I just make myself available through email, text, whatever, and you can just order directly from me.
Okay. All right. So, So another question. So you represent a certain company, but I would assume there's other company or several companies that do this.
There's so many, and it's become kind of a trend in the past few years. Okay. So you can get them at Walmart, but I can promise you that they're not going to really be essential oils at Walmart. And the scary thing about essential oils is nobody polices the industry. So, I, again, went to the only company that's never failed a quality test. And that's the only company that I'm willing to use on my body, on my little baby grandson when he was, 8 months old. He's now 7. His only medicine has his entire life has been essential oils. I went to, like I said, I went to a company that, I don't get emotional about it. It's all science to me.
Good.
I
Good, good.
don't fly an MLM flag. I don't ask anybody to, help me build an MLM empire. That means absolutely nothing to me. All I want is the best quality product that, I know I can trust, because my clients are sick a lot. They have cancer. I'm not going to give them a toxin if they're already fighting
Oh yeah.
MS
Yeah.
or, a terrible disease that's life threatening.
Okay.
So that's how I came to becoming a doTERRA person. It was just hours and hours and hours of research and looking for potency and purity.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fantastic. Now, I don't want to go. Oh, I thought I lost you. I
Nope,
clicked
I'm here.
everything went away. I thought I lost you here. Okay. We talked about essential oils, and the next part, and this is going to be a horrible segue, but I'm going to do it anyway. The, the next part we're going to talk about is alcohol.
Right, right,
Oh, we talk about wine now.
right.
With the theme of natural health or natural healing, I should say, essential oils, the natural stuff. You mentioned to me in our conversation a couple of weeks ago that you're also a wine drinker, but you're very
I
specific
am.
on what kind
Yep,
of wine that you drink.
yep.
So, can you? And I'm not saying that correctly, I'm sure. So, there's all kinds of different wines, of course, from
Oh yeah.
Italy, France, Australia, Bolivia, everywhere you can find
Right,
wine. United
right,
States, everywhere. I
right.
say Italy because I'm Italian, of course. So
Of course.
I drink the vino, of course.
Right.
So, but in your quest to have everything natural in your life, you said that you came across or you found. Now I don't know if I don't remember if you say you were the founder or
No,
representative.
no, no. The company was around for about a year before I found them,
Okay.
and I had totally cleaned up my food act. I had totally cleaned up my personal care products, house cleaning products, all that. I was drinking wine that was labeled made with organic grapes, and I read that phrase and I thought, that's really specific, and it's not organic wine. It's wine made with organic grapes. I'm like, there's a lot more to that story than I can kind
Hmm.
of tell is there, but I don't know what it is. And I didn't have the time to figure it out at that time. My health coaching practice was really busy and I was mobile at the time. So I was driving all over the place. So
Okay.
I, as the internet fates would have it, was contacted by somebody who was representing this wine company who was only about a year old. And she wanted to just, treat me to a bottle of wine to tell me the story and see what I thought would be a good way for her in the area to kind of get her message out. What were the best networking groups? Who were the good witches, the bad witches, that kind of stuff. So I
Okay.
was like, we'll work for wine. Sure. Yeah. I'll consult with you for an hour. No problem.
Good.
So, um, I learned about this company, and right before that happened, my fiance and I were having this lovely Monday afternoon at a North Georgia winery. We kind of had the place to ourselves and we were enjoying this bottle of red wine, sitting on this balcony, overlooking these vineyards. We felt like we were in Tuscany, not North Georgia. It was just a beautiful day.
Cool. Cool.
And all of a sudden, the little man that was one of the field guys gets on his tractor and starts, motoring through the vines. And I noticed this exhaust thing spraying just this big white cloud of God knows what onto the vines. And so I look closely at him and he's in head to toe hazmat suit. He's like in the moon suit
Sure.
that you see, on the scary movies about germs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, check please. Let's get out of here because first of all, that's what's going to waft up here. And secondly, I looked at the bottle of wine and I'm like, we're drinking that. We might as well be pulling up to his tractor and pouring it in a cup and chugging it out of the tractor because it's going on the plant. And then those grapes are going in the vat and making the wine and we're drinking that. It was the really first aha moment. So it was shortly after that this woman contacted me. So I was really interested to hear what she had to say.
Oh
So
wow.
she told me, about Scout and Cellar. And Scout and Cellar is a company that was founded in August of 2020, they were 3 years old. So 3.5-year-old company out of Austin, Texas, founded by a woman who loved wine and was a corporate attorney, decided to stop doing that and go study to be a sommelier. So she started studying wine, and she, each time she was studying something, she'd have just a small taste to, get what they meant with all these fancy words they were using. And sometimes she would get migraine headaches, and she'd never suffered from migraines before. So she went to a naturopath, she went to a chiropractor. Nobody could figure out why she was getting these headaches. And so she kind of got the feeling that maybe it was the wine she was drinking. So she puts her, investigative attorney hat back on and sends the bottle of wine off to an independent testing lab and finds out there's nearly 250 chemical additives in this wine that she has no idea are in there. And my favorite way, I have props. My favorite way to tell this story is if you look at the back of a wine bottle, it really doesn't say much. It says the varietal, who bottled it, where they bottled it, what the alcohol is, and that it has added sulfites. And it doesn't even tell you much about that. So compare that to, I always use the salad dressing. Sorry, my salad dressing has a greasy spillage. But if you look at your salad dressing bottle, you know everything that is in the salad dressing. You have absolutely no idea what's in your wine because it's a different entity that governs it. It doesn't have to be labeled the same way. So for me, as somebody that's gone down this sickness to health path, that's terrifying. Like literally, there obviously we can guess that there's pesticides and herbicides and fungicides that are all going to be horrible for our gut. But what we don't know is there's, a lot of red wines aren't really that red. So they put something in them called mega purple dye. That's why you see sometimes women drinking wine and their teeth are purple and their lips are purple and their tongue is purple. It's not the grapes, right? It's the dyes. So they put in additives for texture, for flavor, for fermentation speed, for all these things. And they don't have to tell us that they're even in there. So, and I'm guessing most of them aren't very good for us, right? So, so Scout and Cellar just set out to change the wine world. So, added sugars. There's so many added grams of sugar in a bottle of wine. If you look at a bottle this size, which is a normal wine bottle size, 750 milliliters, it could have as much as 16 grams of added sugar. So women have a glass of wine to unwind at night and they're just cracking themselves up on sugar. And then they wonder why they can't sleep. That's why. And they wonder why they're getting the, I say men have the beer belly, women get the wine barrel, it's all this sugar that doesn't have to be there because, what's great about Scout and Cellar is a lot of our wines after the fermentation process, the residual sugar is almost nothing, literally almost zero. Some of them actually are 0 grams of sugar per liter.
Interesting.
So if you're working out, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to be fit, you're wrecking it with a bottle of grocery store wine that, might have 16 grams of sugar added to it on top of the naturally occurring sugar. So,
it's funny you bring this up because a couple of years ago, I went to a local, seminar for a local wine distributor person around here. And basically he was saying how he made the wine and things of that sort. And afterwards, I was in a breakout session, so to speak, and I was talking with one of the owners of this place. And a question came up about how they sweeten the wine or what causes the sweetness of different things. And they were saying that they added different amounts of sugar or different ways to put the sugar in there. And it got me thinking, like, all right, I have all kinds of cousins in Italy. And one of my cousins actually has a vineyard, a small one, nothing major, small one. So I called him up and I asked him. I said, "Do you put any sugar in your wine?" He and it was on the video chat. He looks at me, sugar. Why in the world would we put sugar with our grapes? Everything's got to be, the way the grapes are. You don't add sugar to wine. No. So, okay, all right. Enough said there.
So that's a good thing that you bring up because I can clarify that. So when I talk about the added sugar, those are U.S. produced wines.
Yes.
The the foreign imports are always going to be better than the domestic stuff because they don't do GMO sugar in Italy. You know, they don't do Roundup on their grapes in Italy.
Mhm.
Most, especially most European vineyards, because we're looking at vineyards that are hundreds of years old. Those are old grapes full of antioxidants, right? They don't spray pesticides over there the way they do in the U.S. And a lot of times, you know, the vineyards are built on these, you know, on these steep hills, so they have to hand pick,
Mhm.
and you know that makes a better product. So however, if you're sitting at a winery in Italy and you love what you're drinking and you want to send a case home, they're going to pull that case from a different room than if you send it anywhere else in the world because you're sending it back to the US because US customs requires that the wines that are imported into the US have additional sulfites added to them as a preservative.
Really?
So,
I did not
mhm.
know that.
Yeah. And I learned that, like, I mean, I confirmed that from my sister went to Spain a few years ago with her husband, and they were sitting there again, just this beautiful day in Spain at this winery, and they were drinking this sweet white wine, and they really wanted to send a case home. And the guy said, "Great, where's home?" And they said, "The US." He said, "Okay, then I go to this room, not that room." And my sister's like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, you know, US has certain wines that can be imported. So the US wines are in this room and the rest of the world is in this room. We'll send it wherever you want. I just need to know which room to pick from." And so, Scout and Cellar, because we do have wines from all over the world, our founder, Sarah Shadniks, marched her little, you know,
Mhm.
bad, you know what, into the FDA and said, I don't, or you, whoever, US Customs, and said, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't even want my foreign imports to have additional sulfites. How do I get around that? And they said, if you refrigerate in transit the whole way, we'll waive that response or that requirement. And she said, check and check, done. Don't want the added sulfites because a lot of times it's the added sulfites that cause the headaches. So, especially in women, it can, I mean, they can be severe. They can be literally migraine level headaches from these added sulfites. Now, you'll never find wine that's sulfite free because some sulfites do occur in the fermentation process just naturally. It's just a function of the chemical reaction in fermentation. However, you're looking at less than 100, usually around 50 parts per million,
Okay.
whereby added sulfites in processed wine can be as much as 350 parts per million. So you're looking at a 7 times ratio.
Yeah.
And this is why women that left wine because they got headaches and didn't want to ruin their Saturday because of how they spent their Friday night, love Scout and Cellar because they don't get the headache. So,
Okay.
and you know, I can't say it's headache free wine because a lot of people just have a super sensitivity to tannins, and tannins are in the skin of all grapes. So, you know,
Okay.
we are going to have some people that can't even drink our wine, but I can promise you it's going to be, you know, a lot less than the people that get the headaches from the tons of added sulfites.
Interesting. Interesting. I mean, you
Yeah.
and I, we can talk a lot about wines, but this is not.
I
This is
can
not.
talk a lot about wine. I
This is
can taste a lot of wine. You betcha.
okay, Marylou. So we've been going for about 45 minutes now, and this has been great. So,
Thank you.
um, all right, and I'm going to throw a maybe this is going to be a difficult question for you. I don't know, but you mentioned the word pollutant earlier
Yeah.
today. Put this down. So when you talk with all your clients, and this is another horrible segue from from wines back to this. So sorry
Right.
for
That's
those
okay.
listening and watching. Hey, you're used to it with me anyway, so you know it. So, and this could be a fun question, it could be a scary question, however you want to answer it. But with all your clients, and maybe there's not even an answer to this, but what is the biggest pollutant, so to speak, that you can think of that people consume?
It's not a hard question, unfortunately. The biggest pollutant in our homes today is fake fragrances, because they're all chemically
Wait,
derived
what is what?
fake fragrances.
Fake
So,
fragrances. Okay.
fake fragrances. So, your over fragranced laundry detergent, your dryer sheets and fabric softeners, your room sprays, candles, wax melters, those are all made from basically the waste byproduct of the production of petroleum. So I always tell people it's the stuff they scrape off the ground after they make gasoline. It's not good enough to fuel your car. And they turn it because it's just a abundantly supplied gross waste product. They turn it into all these fake fragrances. And fake fragrances is basically anything derived from a chemical that doesn't come from a plant. You know, essential oils are a great way to fragrance your home, to fragrance your laundry, to fragrance your body. Anything made from chemicals is going to be an estrogen mimicker. So it is going to give women and men hormonal imbalances. It is going to make you fat, if you can believe that. It is going to, and I'll tell you why that happens. So when the body takes in a toxin and the liver is trying to process this toxin and it just doesn't know what to do with it, it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to put this. It literally will just shoot it into fat cells. So you've got this toxin, and then it goes into this fat cell. And then the body is so brilliant that it will just keep layering on fat layer after fat layer after fat layer to protect your organs, your vital organs, from these toxins. And so, you know, when women slather fake fragrances on their body like I used to, when we fill our home with, you know, I mean, I was the former fake fragrance queen, is what I call myself. I did it all. I destroyed my thyroid. I ruined my hormonal balances. I had a daughter, you know, growing up in this home that I thought I was a good mom if my house smelled like the Yankee Candle store. And I was just killing all of us. You know, she developed female issues in her early teens that she's 32 years old and she is finally rid of all those issues that I caused unknowingly. I mean, I don't beat myself up and she didn't beat me up about it either. We didn't know. But I always say this to people, the number one pollutant in our home is all of this fake stuff. I mean, I can literally pass somebody in public and smell their laundry detergent coming off their clothes. It should, your scent should not be that invasive, you know. I've had to move my table at restaurants because I've been sitting next to a woman who is so soaked in her cologne that I actually start getting a migraine headache from it. Yeah, it's bad. But again, it's my body I did all that stuff. I was that woman. I'm not like, you know, mad at her. I feel sad that she doesn't know what I know because she's destroying her health.
Okay, you know? So let me ask you this then, and if you want, this is a product placement thing. So, laundry detergent, which one do you recommend then?
So I use you know, and this is going to sound like a plug, and it's really not. So Doterra makes a laundry detergent that is plant-based, and it cleans well, and it's fragranced with essential oils. But you can, you know, you can buy the free and clear kind of laundry detergents. You know, I'm not sure that I'd still to this day trust the big brands.
Okay.
I won't say their names. I don't want to get sued, but, you know, look for, again, there's 7th generation that you can get at the grocery store. And none of this stuff is perfect.
You said 7th generation? Is that what
7th generation, I think is the name of it. Yeah. I think you can buy that at the grocery store. I'm from Cincinnati. I know you're in Indiana. So I'm an Ohio girl. So I'm a Kroger girl. The Kroger Simple Truth brands have natural laundry detergent, and you know, and just be careful with labels. Like, don't trust just because it says natural on the label. That is the most overused. You know, nuclear waste is naturally occurring too, but I'm not going to put it in my washing machine, right? So so just be careful. Read the ingredients. Don't trust the marketing, and send me a message. I mean, just ask me, because I can promise you, you know, if you send me a picture of something like, should I keep using this? I'm going to give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And again, this isn't because I'm trying to sell you doTERRA's laundry detergent, although I love it. I can lead you to things that are in the grocery store that are just as
Fantastic.
clean. So
Well, I tell you what, I've kept you on for 50 minutes, and I didn't ask for that long time. I
it's
appreciate
okay.
everything you said. Now, you mentioned, and we'll end it here. Thank
Mhm.
you for everything. But you mentioned people that they can contact you or send you a message. So, give yourself a plug. Where can they reach you, and how
Yeah.
can they reach you?
So best way to reach me is email, and so it's just Awesome Natural Healing, which is my company, at Gmail, or Marylou, Marylu at awesomenaturalhealing.com. Either one of those get to me. If you want to check out my wine link, it's Scout and Cellar, so SCOUT.
Mhm.
And is spelled out cellar, like a wine cellar, CELLAR, and then / awesome. And that's how it gets to me. Check
Like,
out the website, reach out to me, ask for suggestions, recommendations, whatever. Same thing with essential oils. I have a lot of people that reach out to me and say, hey, I'm taking Zantac for acid indigestion, and I just saw a commercial that there's a class action lawsuit and it's causing cancer. And is there a natural remedy? Yes, there is. And I can point you to that. I give all that advice free. I do have health coaching sessions if you want like weekly help to totally, get on
right,
this
right.
path. But I do a 30-minute discovery call that's completely free just because I want to, help you get started. If you can get started on that path, go for it. If you need a guide along the way, I'm happy to do that with you as well. I'm super user friendly. I don't do contracts. You pay for a month. We work together for a month. If you want to go the next month, that's totally up to you. I don't like to be bound by that kind of stuff. So I just try to be super user friendly. Once you're a client of mine in any fashion, you basically have unlimited access to me via text message.
Mm-hmm.
I pride myself on that, just, saying anytime,
Right.
I'm running my kid's running a fever. Literally, I take text messages on Christmas Day, and my fiance looks at me like, seriously? And I'm like, it's a sick baby. Her baby's sick. Just give me a minute, because that's where my
Nice.
heart is.
Pick up the oil there, baby. Let's go.
Right.
So,
So it's a
if
lot of information, and I don't want people to feel overwhelmed, because I stood in the grocery store and was overwhelmed and just broke down into tears. So I don't want you to be that way. I've got a document that I send to new clients. It's called Where Do I Start? And it takes you through that, how to detox your laundry room. But it's the 3 most toxic rooms in your house are the laundry room, the kitchen, and the master bathroom. So let me help you clean those up, even if we just take it in baby steps. And I'm a big baby step person too. Like, I don't say like, okay, we're going to throw everything away in your house. I say, when you run out of something, send me a message. Hey, I'm running out of this. Should I rebuy this? Or is there something, should I re-up on my supply of this? Or is there something healthier? And I'll just tell you, I'm super honest. I'm
good,
very transparent. So
well, I'm going to be a little selfish here. I'm going to say, hey, send me that document. I'd like to see it.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And we need to show you all the different ways you can help those people that are working out have less aches and pains with natural
Absolutely.
remedies.
Well, Marylou, thank you again. This has been great,
Thank you for
fantastic.
having me.
And once again, folks, if you need to reach her, it's awesomenaturalhealing.com. And Facebook is the same thing, facebook.com, Awesome Natural Healing. If you need to get a message to Marylou and you didn't write anything down, y'all know you can send me a message and I'll get it to her. It's not a
Right.
problem there. So
Yeah.
don't feel bad if you were driving or something, you couldn't write it down. You know how it
Right.
works. You can contact me. So once again, thank you for coming. I'm always going to reserve the right to ask you to come back again in the future.
I'd love to, Andrew. Anytime. I can talk about this stuff all night long. It's
All right.
definitely my passion.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us this evening. And you can catch the replays everywhere, topfitnessstrategies.com, Facebook, YouTube, and all that good stuff. So until next time, this is Andrew and Marylou. Ciao.
Bye. Thank